Hey everyone, a while back I made a video for my Wiki to Well series where I headed over to lava dragons, and honestly it was kind of disappointing. I only managed to make around 940k in 1 hour, which isn't too great. The main issue was the high supply cost of the trident, which came in at a whopping 540 GP per attack. So, long story short, I feel like I can do much better here. And that's why today I'm heading back out there, but this time I'll be using the Accursed Scepter, which should be best in slot for this method. Since my last video, I've also completed the Wilderness Elite Diaries, so for those who don't know, that means all bones dropped by dragons will now be dropped in noted form, which pretty much doubles the number of kills I can get per trip. Now, normally this is the point where I'll talk about requirements, location and my gear setup, but since the only real change is my main weapon, I'm going to skip that part to avoid repeating myself. If you want more info on lava dragons, check out my previous video, link will be in the description. The wiki estimates an hourly profit of just under 1.8 mil, which is still pretty much exactly the same as the last time I tried this. Alright, let's get into it. As always, I'll be doing this for 1 hour. It's pretty early in the morning, so I don't think I will encounter any PKers, but we'll see. Let's start the timer. One small change I've made since the last episode is that I'm now teleporting to the corporeal beast to get there instead of using the canoe method. Honestly, both options take about the same amount of time. I didn't really notice much of a difference. Right from the start, I noticed that the Accursed Scepter was hitting much more consistent and higher than the trident. It's also pretty nice knowing that the charges are much cheaper. Now, when it comes to lava dragons, a big chunk of your profit will always come from the Onyx Bolt Tip drops. A drop of 12 tips is worth about 100k, making it the most valuable regular drop on the table. Of course, there's always the Draconic Visage too, but with a 1 in 10k drop rate, you really can't count on that happening. I did get lucky and snagged my first Onyx Bolt Tip drop within the first 6 or 7 kills or so. I then landed another one in the same trip, so not a bad start at all. If you're looking to stretch out your trips even more, you can also always bring alcs. Lava dragons drop a decent amount of alchable items, so this can help boost your profit per hour. Just keep in mind that longer trips does mean more loot at risk, so only do this if you're okay with potentially losing some more loot. To play it safe, I didn't do this for this video and I wrapped up my first trip in just 14 minutes with 26 kills. So I was well on pace to hit 100 kills in the hour. But then came the second trip and honestly it couldn't have gone much better. I didn't get just 1, not 2, but 3 Onyx Bolt Tip drops, getting insanely lucky. So with a full inventory of loot and 25 kills under my belt, I decided not to risk it anymore and just banked right before the timer hit the 30-minute mark. In the third trip, not too much happened, I just got some regular loot and managed to get a lot of kills. But as I returned for another run, I bumped into my first PKer. Luckily he hopped worlds right as I came into render distance, so nothing bad happened. Unfortunately, however, that wasn't the end of it. A few minutes later he found me again, but this time I was too fast. I pulled off the fastest logout you've ever seen and I'm honestly still impressed with how fast my reaction time was there. Then finally, after a few sweaty minutes and one last Onyx Bolt drop, I managed to make it back safely with all of my juicy loot. Alright, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't think I can get another kill in 15 seconds, so I'm gonna stop the clock here and that will be the hour completed. Let's quickly get out of the wilderness and see how much money we've made. Alright, I've got all of the loot in the inventory and it's looking a lot better than last time in my opinion. I think we have beat our previous number. Look at this, 2.3 mil almost in loot. Of course we still have supply costs, but this is looking pretty promising. And there we go, we ended up with a little over 2.2 million. I'm 100% sure we've beat our previous number, but let's go subtract the supply cost to see how much profit we ended up with. So, with a total income of 2.2 million and a supply cost of around 200k, that leaves us with an insane profit of just over 2 million GP in a single hour. Compare this to my last attempt, where I only made 940k, this is over twice the profit with only about 400k more in loot value. So I would definitely recommend using the Accursed Scepter over the trident here. It's cheap cheaper to buy, cheaper to use, and honestly just more efficient. The only downside is that you'll lose 1000 Revenant Ether if you die, but that's easily made back in a couple of kills. Now, to be fair, I did get a bit lucky with my drops. On average, a Lava Dragon is worth around 21k, and I managed to get 98 kills. That should have made me around 2.04 million, but I ended up with over 2.2 million. So I got roughly 200k more than expected, bringing the more realistic hourly profits down to around 1.8 mil. Still, that's really solid and lines up perfectly with what the wiki estimated. When I tried this 6 months ago, I said Lava Dragons weren't worth it, but I've definitely changed my mind. The potential profit is absolutely there, especially since you don't need any crazy high combat stats. If you're doing this in the off-peak hours, you can usually avoid PKers pretty easily. Oh, and don't forget, there's a solid chance of getting elite clue scrolls, which can be a big bonus for all you clue hunters out there. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe as I'm trying to hit 1000 subs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!